The information we are about to share is critical for anyone trying to make sense of this confusing and stagnant crypto market. Before we begin, I ask for just 1 second of your time. If you find value in this deep dive analysis, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small click for you, but it sends a powerful signal to the YouTube algorithm that this is important information. It helps us break through the noise of hype and scams and ensures this type of objective analysis reaches more people who need it to navigate these difficult markets. Thank you. Let's begin. The market feels heavy, stagnant. A summer lull has settled in, and the explosive price action we were promised seems like a distant dream. This prolonged lack of volatility is causing something far more dangerous than fear: boredom and apathy. Investors are losing interest. But this apparent calm is profoundly deceiving. It is the eye of the hurricane. Beneath the surface of this sideways market, a titanic struggle is taking place between a relentless, invisible wall of selling pressure and the quiet, determined accumulation by the network's most powerful players. By the end of this video, you will understand the deep structural forces that are creating the stagnation and, more importantly, see the on-chain signals that point to when it might violently end. Let's first dissect the invisible wall of selling that is putting a ceiling on the market. This is the VC token overhang. During the speculative fever of 2021 and 2022, crypto-focused venture capital funds poured hundreds of billions of dollars into thousands of new projects. Now, in 2025, those projects are finally launching their tokens. Every week, a new Layer 1, Layer 2, or DeFi protocol holds its token generation event, flooding the market with a new supply of altcoins. This has two devastating effects on the market. First, it dilutes capital. Instead of new money flowing into established altcoins like Solana or Avalanche, it's being spread thin across hundreds of new, unproven projects. Second, and more importantly, it creates a constant, predictable source of selling pressure. The VCs who invested in these projects for pennies on the dollar are now cashing out their multi-million-dollar positions as soon as the tokens become liquid. This VC overhang means that for every new dollar of retail or institutional buying, there is often an equal, if not greater, amount of insider selling. This is a key structural reason why altcoins have dramatically underperformed this cycle. But this isn't the only headwind. A powerful force from the traditional financial world is also acting as a major brake on the market, which I will explain after we look at who is secretly fighting back against this relentless sell pressure. While VCs are selling, the most important players in the entire ecosystem have just made a critical pivot. I'm talking about Bitcoin miners. We can see this using the miner net position change metric, which simply tracks whether miners are, in aggregate, selling or holding the new Bitcoin they mine. For months after the halving, this metric was consistently negative. Miners were forced to sell heavily to cover their massive operational costs and to finance upgrades to more efficient hardware. This was a period of capitulation, and it created a major source of downward pressure on the price. But in the last 2 weeks, for the first time since the halving, this metric has flipped to neutral and even slightly positive. This is a hugely significant on-chain signal. It means the weakest, most inefficient miners have been flushed out of the system. The remaining miners are now so profitable at these price levels that they can cover all their costs and still afford to hold on to or hodl the new Bitcoin they acquire. The forced selling has stopped. This quiet accumulation by miners, the network's most essential participants, is now providing a powerful underlying support that is currently battling the immense sell pressure from the VC overhang we just discussed. However, this internal market tug-of-war is being influenced by a major global headwind, the king dollar problem. To understand this, we need to look at the DXY, or the US dollar index. This index measures the strength of the US dollar against a basket of other major world currencies, like the euro and the yen. Right now, the DXY is incredibly strong. Why? Because the U.S. economy, despite its challenges, is proving to be far more resilient than the economies of Europe and other regions which are closer to recession. This forces their central banks to consider cutting interest rates while the U.S. Federal Reserve remains on hold. This has a direct inverse correlation with crypto. A strong dollar makes it more expensive for international investors to buy assets priced in dollars like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Furthermore, in a world of economic uncertainty, large pools of capital often flee to the perceived safety and strength of the dollar, pulling money away from riskier assets like crypto. This strong dollar is a powerful external brake that is contributing significantly to the market's current stagnation. This strength in the traditional financial system's primary asset is happening at the exact same time a major traditional tech player is making a huge move to bridge the gap into the new digital asset world. This brings us to the next phase of institutional adoption. It's no longer just about buying the asset, it's about building the intelligence layer on top of it. This week, Palantir, the data analytics giant known for its work with governments and major corporations, announced the launch of a new platform, Foundry for Blockchains. This is not a simple treasury allocation. Palantir is leveraging its world-class expertise in AI and big data to analyze on-chain data, providing institutional clients with tools to track illicit finance, analyze DeFi protocol risk, and identify market trends. This is phase 2 of institutional adoption. Phase 1 was about financial players like BlackRock making the asset accessible through ETFs. Phase 2 is about sophisticated technology companies building essential picks and shovels services that integrate blockchain data into the real economy. This signals a deep, long-term commitment to the asset class as a permanent and important part of the financial landscape. This maturation is also happening within DeFi itself. The entire sector is undergoing a quiet but crucial evolution away from the Ponzi-nomics of the past. The DeFi 1.0 era was dominated by protocols that attracted users by printing their own inflationary governance tokens and offering unsustainable 1,000% APYs. This model inevitably collapsed. Now, a new real yield narrative is taking hold. Investors are shunning inflationary tokens and are instead flocking to protocols like GMX and synthetics. These platforms generate real revenue from real economic activity, like trading fees and lending interest, and they share that real revenue with their token holders, often in the form of stablecoins or Ethereum. Investors are learning to evaluate these protocols like real businesses with real cash flow. This search for sustainable, real yield is a direct reaction to the failures of the speculative VC-driven projects we talked about at the beginning. It's the market learning from its mistakes in real time and becoming far more resilient in the process. So we are left with the great stagnation. It is a titanic battle being fought on multiple fronts. On one side, you have the powerful headwinds of the VC token overhang, flooding the market with supply, and a strong U.S. dollar pulling capital away. On the other side, you have the immense tailwinds of Bitcoin miners finally stopping their selling, and a new, more sophisticated wave of institutional adoption focused on building real infrastructure. The current sideways market is not a sign of a dead market. It is the sign of a massive consolidation and a changing of the guard. The speculative, inflationary froth of the past is being replaced by foundational strength and real-world utility. The question is not if the next major move is coming, but which of these powerful forces will win the battle and determine its direction. If this deep dive helped you understand the powerful undercurrents of the current market, please help this information reach others. Like this video, comment below with which force you think will win, the headwinds or the tailwinds, and share it with a friend who is feeling frustrated with the sideways price action. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more analysis that digs deeper. Thank you for watching.